Did you know that over 88% of wheel-related failures start with one worn-out part? What is a wheel bearing? Today, I'm breaking down 9 signs your wheel bearing's about to give up. A wheel bearing is a small steel ring packed with precision balls and grease. It sits inside your hub and lets the wheel spin around the axle with minimal resistance. Whether you're riding a naked bike, touring machine, or motocross racer, your wheel bearing is doing the same job every mile. You'll find it pressed into each wheel, just behind the spacer. Let's walk through the 9 warning signs your wheel bearing is failing before that faint vibration turns into a full-on wheel lock. Symptom 9. Low-speed humming. You're rolling down the street, engine quiet, and you notice it. A faint hum that wasn't there before. It's not tire roar, not chain whine, not wind. It's a low metallic note that rises with speed, like a ghostly resonance from inside the hub. It sounds harmless, but that sound is metal calling for help. Inside, the bearing's grease is drying up. Each steel ball is scraping instead of gliding, polishing the surface now and scoring it later. Every rotation steals a fraction of its life. Lift the wheel off the ground and give it a spin. Listen closely. A good wheel spins smooth and silent. A dry one hums like a tuning fork. Feel the rim as it turns. If it feels gritty, the grease film is gone. You can repack the bearing with fresh high-temp grease if it's only dry, but if you feel notches or hear grinding, replace it. A quality bearing kit runs $40 to $60. Far cheaper than a damaged hub. Ignore that whisper and you'll soon face pitted races and warped hub bores. Repairs. Climbing past $250. That gentle hum is your first and kindest warning. Don't wait until it grows louder, because once that soft sound turns into vibration through your bars, you've reached the next stage of trouble. Symptom 8. Handlebar vibration. Now the hum becomes a pulse. You feel a buzz through your grips even on smooth roads. Mirrors shake. Your hands tingle after a few minutes. That subtle vibration isn't from tires or engine resonance. It's from the wheel bearing wobbling under load. The grease that once cushioned every steel ball is gone. And now metal is smacking metal thousands of times per minute. The vibration climbs through the fork legs straight into your hands. To confirm it, lift the front wheel and spin it freely. Watch the rim's edge. Any side-to-side movement or uneven rotation means the bearing has play. Replace both bearings together. Pairing a new bearing with an old one only shifts the stress. A full front set costs about $40 to $70. Or roughly $120 to $150 installed by a shop. Ignore it, and the vibration will start damaging more than your patience. Fork seals, wheel spacers, and even your head bearings start wearing unevenly. Add another $100 to $200 to the eventual cost. That buzz doesn't fade. It deepens into a growl. Once you hear that deep, gritty tone, your bearing isn't just worn, it's wounded. And the next symptom announces that loud and clear. Symptom 7. Grinding or growling noise. You roll off the throttle, and instead of a smooth glide, you hear a low growl. It sounds like gravel under the tire, or like the distant rumble of an old diesel truck. That's not the road, it's the bearing. Pitted surfaces are grinding into each other. The grease is gone, and tiny metal flakes are floating inside, turning the bearing into its own sandpaper. Each spin digs deeper. To test it, lift the wheel and rotate it slowly. Press your ear near the hub or place a screwdriver against it and your ear to the handle like a stethoscope. Hear that grinding? Feel that pulse in the rim? The bearing's toast. Replace it now. A bearing kit costs $40 to $60, and if the hub has been scored, expect another $150 to $300 in machining or replacement costs. Keep riding, and the bearing could seize mid-corner, locking the wheel. The result? Bent forks, destroyed rim, and a repair bill over $1,000 if you're lucky enough to stay upright. That growl isn't background noise, it's a countdown, because when the damage grows, the wheel starts to move where it shouldn't. Symptom 6. Wheel play or looseness. At this stage, the problem is no longer subtle. With the wheel off the ground, grab it at the 12 and 6 o'clock positions and rock it. Feel that knock? That's not supposed to happen. The bearing races are worn, allowing the wheel to shift on the axle. That tiny bit of looseness throws off your wheel alignment and stresses your axle. Over time, this play increases, and the wheel can tilt slightly under load. Replace both bearings and inspect the spacer tube. A warped or short spacer lets the bearings compress unevenly, shortening their life. A quality set is $40. Labor adds $150 to $200. And that's cheap compared to what follows if you ignore it. Keep riding, and every bump hammers the hub bore wider until the bearings can't seat correctly anymore. Now you're buying a new hub, $300 to $400 minimum. That loose feeling in the wheel will soon become a knocking sound you can hear even when stopped. And that's the next stage. Drop a comment with your bike model/year and which symptom you've got. I'll feature the most common cases and show the cheapest fix in the next video. Symptom 5, clicking or knocking at stops. You roll to a light and hear it. Click, click, click. The wheel turns slowly, and each revolution gives off a sharp tap. It sounds like a loose rotor bolt, but it's not. It's the bearing's inner race shifting inside the hub with every rotation. The interference fit that once held it snug is now sloppy. Push the bike forward slowly and listen near the hub. A rhythmic click means internal movement. No adjustment will fix this. The only cure is replacement. Both sides. Expect to spend $40 to $50 for the bearings and around $200 total if a mechanic handles it. Ignore it, and the hub bore will start elongating, turning round holes into ovals. Once that happens, bearings will never sit tight again, and you'll need a new hub assembly. That's $250 to $400 gone. When the wheel starts clicking, the steering will soon wander, and that's where things start to feel truly dangerous. Symptom 4, wandering steering. The bike used to carve clean lines. Now it hesitates in turns, drifting outward as if the front wheel is on ice. Steering feels vague, delayed, disconnected. That's a sure sign of a failing bearing. The wheel no longer tracks perfectly straight because the hub is shifting slightly on the axle. Every lean angle exaggerates the effect. Lift the front end and swing the handlebars left to right. If you feel resistance or hear clunks from the wheel instead of the headstock, the wheel bearing is misaligned. Replace both sides together. A set runs $40 to $60, and labor another $100. Ignore this wandering steering and the consequences multiply. The more the wheel shifts under load, the more uneven pressure it places on your tire's surface. Soon you'll notice flat spots on one side, uneven wear, and a steering feel that worsens every ride. That's not just annoying, it's expensive. You'll start burning through tires long before their normal lifespan. Expect $300 to $400 in wasted rubber if you keep riding like that. Once the front starts wandering, the next symptom won't just be something you feel. It'll be something you can see, and that brings us to the next stage. Tire wear will begin to tell the story your bearings have been whispering for weeks. Symptom 3, uneven or rapid tire wear. Your tires tell the truth. Look closely. One side is wearing faster than the other, or the tread feels feathered to the touch. That's because the wheel isn't running straight anymore. A bad bearing tilts the wheel slightly, forcing the tire to drag sideways instead of rolling clean. Run your fingers along the tread blocks. Sharp edges on one side, smooth on the other, that's bearing misalignment. Replace your bearings immediately. A full set costs $40, while a single tire replacement runs $200 to $300. Keep ignoring it, and the imbalance grows. Keep ignoring uneven wear, and it doesn't stop there. The imbalance grows. The front end starts vibrating at highway speeds. The bike feels nervous, unsettled. What seems like a simple tire issue often hides a mechanical imbalance deeper inside the wheel. It's not just a tire problem. It's the bearing rocking back and forth inside its seat. That imbalance creates a new danger: front end wobble. The same tiny shift that scuffs your tire can turn into a violent shake when you hit speed, and that wobble is the next symptom, the one that makes every rider's stomach drop. Symptom 2, wobble or shimmy at speed. At 40 miles per hour, you feel it. The bars begin to dance, let go, and the front end oscillates side to side like a slow slapper. It's the bearing wobbling on the axle, throwing the wheel slightly out of balance. Each rotation multiplies the movement, feeding into the next. That's not a tire issue, it's a structural one. What's happening is the wheel bearing wobbling on the axle. As it shifts, the wheel rotates off-center, introducing a small oscillation. Each spin amplifies the movement, feeding into the next, until the front end starts shaking on its own. At higher speeds, that tiny wobble can snowball into a full-on tank slapper. Violent, uncontrollable, and dangerous. Lift the wheel, spin it fast, and watch the rim. Any lateral movement means the bearing is shot. Replace immediately. A proper kit costs $40 to $60. Balancing adds another $30 to $50, and peace of mind is priceless. Ignore the wobble and you're gambling with control. At high speed, the oscillation can escalate into a tank slapper, bending bars, forks, and frames in seconds. The damage can exceed $1,500, and that's if you stay upright. This is your final chance to act, because when a bearing goes this far, failure isn't a question, it's a guarantee. The final stage is total lockup. Symptom 1. Wheel lock or seizure. You're cruising at speed, wind in your face, when suddenly it happens. The wheel drags like the brake slammed on. The bike jerks, your heart stops, and before you know it, you're fighting for control. The bearing has disintegrated. The steel balls have shattered, jamming the race and locking the wheel solid. There's no gentle warning here. It's instant. If it happens, don't try to roll the bike. You'll only cause more damage. Call for a tow and have it inspected immediately. The repair won't be cheap. You'll need a new hub, axle, seals, and bearings. Expect $1,000 to $1,500 in parts and labor. And that's before counting any crash damage, fairing scratches, or gear replacement. This is why every earlier symptom matters. Bearings rarely die suddenly. They warn you clearly and repeatedly. A faint hum becomes vibration. Vibration becomes wander. Wander becomes wobble. And wobble ends with a lock. Catch it early and you spend $40. Miss it and you pay thousands. Or worse, lose control mid-ride. The lesson is simple. Never ignore what your bike is telling you. Bearings speak softly at first, but if you don't listen, they scream. Replace them before they reach this point, and your wheels will spin smooth, safe, and silent for miles to come. Check your wheel bearings every 5,000 miles, or with every tire change. A $40 fix beats a $1,200 rebuild any day. Stay sharp, ride smooth, and subscribe so you don't miss more videos like these.